We know that Alzheimer's disease affects millions of families. It can slowly erode an individual's memory, their identity, and their independence. Hi, I'm Nikki Crowley, Associate Professor of Biology and Director of the Penn State Neuroscience Institute. So during Brain Awareness Week, we're also thinking about healthy aging of the brain and where healthy aging goes awry. When we age, we know that our bodies change, but so do our brains. And as we get older, our brains naturally go through some changes in how we think, how we feel, and how we remember things. And scientists do know what underlies those changes. For example, in some areas of the brain, like those involved in decision-making and working memory, we know that there is changes in size and that those brain regions can experience shrinking as we age, while the speed of communication in those brain regions can also slow down and become less efficient. The aging brain is also going to experience changes in blood flow, in neuroplasticity, and things like inflammation. And all of these things can interact to influence our ability to pay attention, to remember new information, and perform cognitive tasks. So some of that is natural. Our brains are naturally going to slow down and decline as we get older. But unnatural aging can occur when changes in memory and thinking are not a normal part of aging, like for Alzheimer's disease. We don't know all of the underlying causes of Alzheimer's disease. We think that it's an interaction between genes, family history, environmental factors, and lifestyle behaviors. There are some FDA-approved tools that can aid in diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. There are functional and structural imaging approaches of the brain. There are molecular imaging approaches and cerebrospinal fluid sampling where we can look for amyloid beta and tau tangles, some of the most known biomarkers that you might have heard about before. We can also do genetic risk profiling for genes that we think are involved in Alzheimer's disease, like those related to amyloid precursor protein or ApoE. I think that every day we are getting closer to a treatment for Alzheimer's disease. And importantly, we're starting to be able to pull back when is the earliest diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. So previously, if you had a loved one that suffered from Alzheimer's disease or a related dementia or cognitive decline, you may not have known that they had that disease until they started showing really robust symptoms like forgetting the names of their family members or their loved ones. But now we're starting to be able to pull that back decades using these biomedical approaches where we can image the brain or look at brain function to find the earliest diagnosable point. And that is really important because the earlier that we know that someone might be going down the road of Alzheimer's disease, the earlier we can get in there with interventions and preventative and lifestyle factor changes to help them have the best trajectory possible. It's important to think about your own individual risk and what you can know about your risk for Alzheimer's disease. So when considering your family history, has someone in your family had Alzheimer's disease? Or if not diagnosed, did they have cognitive decline? Do you have a predisposition through your genetic history or other environmental factors that may want you to keep an eye on your cognitive trajectory for yourself or loved ones? And all of the advice for how to prevent Alzheimer's disease you've probably heard before from your physician. We recommend things like healthy eating, managing diabetes, exercise, limiting your alcohol use, and most importantly, managing your mental health and maintaining meaningful social connections appear to be really important for reducing your risk.
There is a seem
They were like, we need one shot, and they were here for like 45 minutes.
for one shot.
My hope is we can coordinate across everybody and
Yeah.
for the fundraising.
Yeah, okay,
like,
yeah.
Stick it, because what I'd love to do is like,
More about sharing together, like ideas and stuff.
yeah, I just hadn't bumped her until we heard that.
Yeah, no.